What does it take to rule the world? For centuries, empires have risen and fallen, each leaving its mark on history. But few have achieved the sheer scale and influence of the Spanish Empire. From the sun-drenched shores of the New World to the bustling cities of Europe, the Spanish flag flew high, a symbol of power and ambition. How did a nation on the edge of Europe ascend to such heights? How did Spain become the world's first true superpower? The story of the Spanish Empire is a tale of conquest, innovation, and global dominance. Join us as we delve into the heart of an empire, tracing its rise from humble beginnings to the pinnacle of global power. To understand the Spanish Empire's meteoric rise, we must first journey back to its roots. Long before the conquistadors set foot in the Americas, the Iberian Peninsula was a land of diverse kingdoms, each vying for power and influence. Among them, a young and ambitious kingdom named Castile began to assert its dominance. Through strategic alliances and shrewd conquests, Castile expanded its territory, laying the groundwork for a future empire. In 1469, the marriage of Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon united the two most powerful kingdoms in Iberia. Together, Isabella and Ferdinand, known as the Catholic monarchs, completed the Reconquista, expelling the last remnants of Moorish rule from Spain. The year 1492 marked a turning point in world history. While Isabella and Ferdinand celebrated the fall of Granada, a Genoese explorer named Christopher Columbus stood on the deck of his ship, gazing westward into the unknown. Funded by the Spanish crown, Columbus embarked on a perilous voyage across the Atlantic, seeking a new trade route to the East Indies. What he found instead would change the course of history. Columbus's discovery of the Americas opened up a new chapter in human history, one marked by exploration, conquest, and the collision of worlds. The wealth extracted from the Americas, particularly the gold and silver mines of Mexico and Peru, would fuel Spain's rise to become the most powerful nation on Earth. Columbus's arrival in the Bahamas on October 12, 1492 was not just a geographical landmark, but a seismic shift in the world order. What began as a quest for a westward route to the Indies quickly morphed into a relentless campaign of exploration and conquest. Columbus, convinced he had reached the shores of Asia, claimed the land for Spain, igniting a wave of expeditions that would forever alter the fate of two continents. Conquistadors, hardened veterans of Spain's own internal conflicts, were drawn to the Americas by promises of gold, glory, and the opportunity to carve out their own domains. Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro led expeditions that toppled the Aztec and Inca empires, respectively. The conquest of the Aztec and Inca empires was brutal and swift. The Spanish, though vastly outnumbered, possessed superior weaponry and a ruthlessness that decimated the indigenous populations. Horses, unknown in the Americas, terrified the natives, while gunpowder tipped the scales of battle decisively in favor of the conquistadors. Disease, too, played a devastating role, sweeping through the indigenous populations, who had no immunity to European ailments. Within decades, Spain had established a vast colonial empire stretching from the Caribbean islands to the heart of South America. Cities were founded, universities were built, and Spanish language and culture took root in the Americas, forever altering the social and cultural landscape of the continent. The conquest of the Americas brought unimaginable wealth to Spain. Gold and silver, extracted from the mines of Mexico and Peru, flowed across the Atlantic, filling the coffers of the Spanish crown and fueling the ambitions of its rulers. The discovery of the Potosi silver mine in Bolivia in 1545 transformed Spain into the wealthiest and most powerful nation in Europe. The influx of precious metals, however, had unintended consequences. Inflation soared, undermining the Spanish economy and eroding the purchasing power of its currency. This dependence on colonial exploitation, while initially a source of immense power, would eventually contribute to Spain's decline as other European powers challenged its dominance on the world stage. The Spanish Empire's rise to military dominance was intrinsically linked to the rise of the House of Habsburg. Through a series of strategic marriages and fortuitous inheritances, this ambitious dynasty came to rule not only Spain, but also vast swathes of Europe, from the Netherlands to the Holy Roman Empire. Under the Habsburg banner, Spain's military machine reached its zenith, fueled by the wealth of the Americas and the ambition of emperors. Charles V, perhaps the most powerful Habsburg ruler, inherited a sprawling empire that stretched across continents. From his throne, he commanded armies that clashed with France in Italy, battled Protestant reformers in Germany, and repelled Ottoman advances in the Mediterranean. His reign marked the high point of Spanish military power, but it also sowed the seeds of future conflicts that would drain the empire's resources and hasten its decline. The Spanish military machine, feared throughout Europe, was a formidable force on both land and sea. On land, the Spanish tercios, infantry formations armed with pikes and muskets, were renowned for their discipline and effectiveness. At sea, the Spanish Armada, a fleet of heavily armed galleons, ruled the waves. Spanish galleons, laden with silver and gold from the Americas, sailed across the Atlantic under the watchful eyes of the Armada, ensuring the wealth of the New World flowed back to Spain. The Armada's dominance, however, would be challenged in the late 16th century by the rising naval power of England, leading to a series of epic clashes that would reshape the balance of power in Europe. The Spanish Empire's military history is replete with stunning victories that cemented its reputation as a global superpower. In 1529, at the Battle of Pavia in Italy, Spanish forces captured the French king, Francis I, dealing a humiliating blow to France and solidifying Spain's dominance in the Italian peninsula. In 1571, at the Battle of Lepanto, a combined Spanish and Venetian fleet decisively defeated the Ottoman navy, halting the Ottoman advance into the Mediterranean and preserving Christian control of the sea. These victories, however, came at a heavy price. Constant warfare drained Spain's treasury, while the vast distances of its empire stretched its military resources thin. The cost of maintaining armies and navies, coupled with the lavish spending of the Habsburg court, placed an immense strain on the Spanish economy. The Spanish Empire's might was not solely built on military prowess and territorial conquest. As gold and silver flowed from the Americas, they fueled a period of unprecedented cultural flourishing known as the Spanish Golden Age. This era witnessed an explosion of artistic, literary, and intellectual creativity that left an indelible mark on Western civilization. From the canvases of master painters to the soaring arches of grand cathedrals, Spain's cultural brilliance shone brightly, captivating the world. Diego Velázquez, court painter to King Philip IV, immortalized the Spanish court with his penetrating gaze and masterful brushstrokes. El Greco, another titan of Spanish art, infused his religious paintings with a mystical intensity, reflecting his unique vision and the spiritual fervor of the age. The Spanish Empire's vast reach, spanning continents and oceans, was made possible by groundbreaking advancements in navigation and shipbuilding. Spanish cartographers, drawing on ancient knowledge and new discoveries, created increasingly accurate maps that guided explorers across uncharted seas. Shipbuilders, responding to the demands of long voyages and hostile waters, developed new designs and techniques, crafting vessels capable of weathering the most treacherous storms. The galleon, a powerful and versatile sailing ship, emerged as the workhorse of the Spanish fleet. These ships, armed with cannons and crewed by seasoned sailors, could repel pirates and enemy fleets, ensuring the safe passage of Spain's treasure across the Atlantic. The advancements in navigation and shipbuilding propelled Spain to the forefront of maritime power, enabling it to project its influence across the globe. The Spanish Empire's insatiable appetite for wealth led to complex economic systems to extract resources from its colonies. The encomienda system allowed Spanish colonists to extract labor from the indigenous population. This system often devolved into brutal exploitation, with indigenous peoples forced to work in mines and on plantations. The vast silver mines of Mexico and Peru became the engine of the Spanish economy. This exploitation sparked resistance and rebellion, contributing to the empire's decline. The influx of gold and silver from the Americas, while fueling Spain's rise to global dominance, also had unintended consequences that would sow the seeds of its eventual decline. The Spanish economy, flooded with precious metals, experienced runaway inflation, eroding the purchasing power of its currency and undermining its competitiveness. Spain's industries, unable to compete with cheaper goods from abroad, stagnated, while its reliance on colonial wealth discouraged innovation and economic diversification. Spain's rivals, envious of its wealth and sensing an opportunity, began to challenge its dominance, launching attacks on its colonies and chipping away at its maritime supremacy. The Spanish Empire, once seemingly invincible, found itself facing a growing array of internal and external threats that would ultimately lead to its long and slow decline. The Spanish Empire, once seemingly invincible, began to show cracks in its foundations. A confluence of crises, both internal and external, chipped away at its power, slowly eroding the dominance it had so painstakingly built. Costly wars, fueled by an insatiable ambition and the need to defend its vast territories, drained Spain's treasury, leaving it vulnerable to economic shocks. The seemingly endless flow of gold and silver from the Americas, once the lifeblood of the empire, began to dwindle, further straining its finances. European rivals, sensing Spain's vulnerability, grew bolder in their challenges. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588, once considered invincible, sent shockwaves through Spain, shattering its aura of invincibility and emboldening its enemies. As external threats mounted, internal strife further weakened the Spanish Empire. Revolts and uprisings, fueled by economic hardship, social tensions, and the desire for greater autonomy, erupted across its territories. The Spanish crown, struggling to maintain control over its vast and diverse empire, found itself increasingly bogged down in costly and often unsuccessful attempts to suppress dissent. The weight of empire, once a source of pride and power, became an unbearable burden. Gradually, the Spanish Empire began to unravel. Territories, once firmly under its control, slipped away, either through wars of independence or as rivals seized opportunities to expand their own empires. By the 18th century, the Spanish Empire, though still a force to be reckoned with, was a shadow of its former self. A legacy forged in time, Spain's enduring impact on the world. Despite its decline, the Spanish Empire left an indelible mark on the world. Its legacy is seen in the languages we speak and the cultures we cherish. The Spanish language connects millions across continents. Architectural marvels stand as enduring symbols of its power. Cultural contributions continue to enrich and inspire the world. Reflecting on Spain's rise and fall, the Spanish Empire's story is a complex tapestry of ambition and decline. From the Iberian Peninsula, it rose to a global superpower, shaping nations. Conquistadors claimed vast territories, fueling Spain's rise. Yet, costly wars and a bloated bureaucracy drained its resources. Internal strife and rival powers led to its decline. The Spanish Empire, once powerful, faded into history. Echoes of Empire Spain's enduring legacy in the modern world. Though the Spanish Empire is long gone, its legacy shapes our world. From the Americas to the Philippines, its presence is felt in languages, cultures, and geopolitics. Spanish, born on the Iberian Peninsula, is now a global tongue spoken by millions. The empire's architectural marvels, artistic masterpieces, and culinary traditions captivate and inspire. Its palaces, cathedrals, and music are testaments to its rich cultural heritage.